We're following breaking news out of Peel today, where an arrest has been made after a death threat against Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown. Well, CP24's Steve Ryan is live at Brampton City Hall with the latest. What do we know so far, Steve?
Well, Jamie, it was some very good police work done by Peel Regional Police. We just spoke with them yesterday, and the deputy chief said at the time that they were actively investigating this matter and that we might have some news in the near future. And the news was that there has been an arrest made. Now, I'm joined by Mayor Brown. He, of course, has been very kind with his time. Mr. Mayor, thank you for your time and your thoughts, first off.
Well, grateful for the great police work. You know, they are a very professional, impressive team at Peel Police, and the fact that my family can sleep a little bit easier tonight is good news.
You and I spoke yesterday, and you're pretty steadfast in saying that this wasn't going to deter you from doing your job. Where does that determination come from?
Well, I say it's not the first time I've received a death threat. It's not. I'm sure it won't be the last time. 4 or 5 years ago, we had an incident that I had to have police protection, and the police told me after a period of time that it was safe and not to worry. And this incident happened around 3 weeks ago, and I had the same confidence that they would be able to handle it. You know, we have a very good team at Peel Police that can take on complex threats. In this case, you know, we had a threat where they used a server from Sweden, saying they were a professional overseas criminal and that I was told to leave my position, leave Brampton. Otherwise, you know, my wife, my son, and myself would be killed. And, you know, as much as a threat like that is alarming, especially the egregious nature of, you know, saying they want to kill a child, which is, just beyond approach. Despite the nature of that threat, you know, I was confident that the police would, you know, do the work that they do. And, you know, I've seen them tackle very complex investigations with success. And so I think that gave us confidence. A little bit confusing for my kids, but other than that, I was generally confident they would be able to handle it.
You mentioned your kids. I know your kids are very young, but how do you have that conversation with your family?
That, you know, they're curious too. You know, when you're 4 and almost 6, you're curious. And so just saying they're there to just make sure everything is okay and safe. And, you know, if anything, I think my son loves police officers. So it was, if anything, a little bit interesting to have someone you admire in close vicinity.
Are you able to tell whether or not this threat was as a result of some positions you've taken around the world?
Right now, the police believe the individual worked on his own accord, but they haven't scanned the digital devices to see if there was a motive beyond that. I think part of the apprehension initially, some of the concern from police initially was the fact that this was on the heels of some, you know, positions that I took on transnational crime, where the worry was because I'm so vocal on some of those issues, like the Bishnoi criminal network, that maybe I could be a target. Relieved that they don't think that's the case today, but like I said, we're still early days of understanding, what the motivation was.
You're a very popular mayor here in the city of Brampton. What was the response when news broke that you were being threatened? Well,
I really didn't want any attention to this. We tried to be discreet with public safety matters, but obviously there's been a lot of sympathy and concern, and I feel well protected by the police, and I didn't want anyone worrying. So the message is to family and friends that reached out and residents: don't be worried. We've got the best of the best with PRP, and if I'm not worried, you shouldn't be.
You are somebody who's also known for speaking your mind, advocating for certain things. Will this stop you from doing that?
Not for an instance. For me, my number one issue is public safety. I want to make sure the police have the resources to do their job, that we have the court capacity to handle rising crime we've seen in Canada. I want to address the loopholes in the criminal code, and I'll continue to do what I was elected to do, which was be outspoken on areas where I believe there is gaps.
Where were you yesterday when you got the news?
I got a call last night that the individual had been arrested, but a few days before that, I was given a photo from police to, beware of this individual. This is the person who wants to, go after your family, and just, be on guard. But they had told me in recent days that they thought the investigation was concluding. They knew who was responsible, and it would only be a matter of time until they were located.
Well, thank you for doing this.
Yeah,
thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Send it right back to you.
The update, Steve.